here. Sue Marie, I happened to meet at the hardware. She's inspired by the 60s and the 70s, the writers who were about making the world a better, more thoughtful, mindful, and yet wonderful place. She's an awesome poet. She's very active in the art scene here in Western New York. And without further ado, I'm just going to call up Sue Marie.
Can you hear me okay? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Is that better? That's okay? All right. I only have one piece I'm going to read and an intro, and then just something a little different I'm going to do for Christmas after I'm done. I'm going to intro this. My father was a World War II Marine, and he wasn't my biological father, but he raised me, so that was my dad. And he taught me about pride. He taught me how to stand up for myself. He taught me when to speak, and he taught me when to sit back and be silent. He told me that I was still wet behind the ears, and you know what? I still am, and I probably have years to come. He also called himself a jarhead. When you think about crime and active duty and war and all the crazy things that could happen to you, you never ever think that someone who is in the military is going to be taken by cancer. When I was 15 years old, cancer took my father home. So, and being 15, that's a messed up time for anybody anyhow. You know, you're all confused about everything. You know, nobody tells you anything. And my memory is so acute that, like, I remember my very first memory when I was like a baby and even when I was like 2 years old. But for some reason, the day of his funeral, I have no memory. And it's funny how the mind works, because sometimes it kind of protects you from things that otherwise might be disturbing. And I remember it clear as day, we were in the limo driving to the cemetery, and just like a knife cutting bread, it was a beautiful, sunny day in November. And just like that, whap, no memory, nothing, gone. I had to ask my mother, did they do a gun salute? Did they put the military flag on his coffin? Did they hand you the flag in a triangle all neatly folded? She had to tell me all that. I have no remembrance of that. And of all the times leading up to him being sick and the chemo treatments and the years of that, I wasn't allowed to go see him in the hospital because I was too young. I wasn't 16. You know, and at the time you had to be 16 or older to get into, you know, ICU or CCU, whatever, you know. So I wasn't allowed to see him, so I never saw him before he died, okay? Last year, his name is Edwin George Kester, by the way, and he also taught me about Semper Fi. The funny thing is, two men in my life that will know me 100%, that I happen to, they crossed my path, their names are Ed and George, and I found that ironic as I was writing this, that that's my father's name, Edwin George Kester. Kind of funny. Anyhow, last summer, I flew to DC to see Bob Dylan, and I ended up going to Arlington. It was like a pilgrimage. Like if you're ever compelled to do something and you don't know why you wrote that letter, or you got in the car and you went to someone's house, or you made a phone call, or you sent an email, or you just did anything, you're just compelled and you really don't know why. It's like your instinct telling you you need to be here right now. And I said to my friend, we need to go to Arlington. And we ended up going to Arlington, and all I can say is if you've never been there, my entire chest caved in, okay? And we had to stop so many times because I literally couldn't breathe. And I see Arlington as life itself, because you have all of this death, but along with it is all of this life. There's birds and gardens and fountains and trees, and everything's alive, and even some of the grave markers are absolutely beautiful to photograph. So you have life and death existing together. And I also saw Iwo Jima. Okay, now when I've never seen it before. I'm thinking it's going to be some little sculpture. This thing is 3 stories high, bigger than a school. Okay, when I walked upon this thing, I felt so tiny to life, to the entire universe. I felt like not nothing, but just very, very tiny. And I was circling and circling this bronze, immense, mammoth sculpture, and I looked at it, and I'm like, that's my father. That's my father. Here I am, I was 35, there's my father. And I was with my friend Ed, and it's a walk from Arlington to Iwo Jima. It's about a 20-minute walk, and we didn't know that. The whole way back, I had I don't even know what it was. I was letting go all those years, and I didn't even know it. He just let me go on, you know. He was silent, and he just let me go on. And what happened when we got back is I wandered off on a path, some place where I wasn't supposed to be, and I looked and I saw it, and it was granite on the wall, and it was the oath that the sentinel takes for the Tomb of the Unknowns. So I'm sitting there trying to snap pictures of this, and as I do, right here to my side, out comes a Marine. He was but a boy. But oh my goodness, he stopped and he saluted me, and it blew my mind. I felt like I should be saluting him. I was like so taken aback. And so he turned on perfect pivot click of heel, saluted me, and when he walked, nothing moved but his feet. So I'm sneaking behind him. We had no schedule. We're just on a whim going. We knew nothing about Arlington. Neither one of us had been there. So I'm like, where's he going? I have to follow him, and I do, and we turn a corner, and I go, oh my goodness, it was a changing of the guard. So I got to see the Marine that saluted me was the next sentinel to stand at the Tomb of the Unknowns. So when we got back, this is pretty much what I